I'm sitting here. We'll help you. It was a big. Go ahead, Dave. Ring the bell then.
I actually did.
With lowering hearts we see thee rise, the true Lord, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep the land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Everybody raise their glasses. Toast to the Queen. To Canada. And to Rotary.
All right, sorry, this is one of these impromptu ones because I didn't obviously read the memo. So, for the good of Rotary, for all of our fellowship, for the food we are about to receive, and for the spirit of the season which is coming upon us, we give thanks.
Amen.
Anybody bring a guest today? We have a couple of guests on the side as well. We have a few guests, our guest speaker.
Yes, the guest speaker today will be properly introduced by you a little later.
Yes.
And Alan Cummins is joining us again, hoping to join us always, I guess.
Diane Wiles is
Diane
also
Wiles.
joining us, and Tony Dennison from Leadership Waterloo.
That's right.
Yes, so they're actually going to do a little bit of an introduction today as well for a couple minutes. How do we welcome our guests? Our guests get to lead us to the buffet.
We're good.
I get to sit across from the table. Not today.
You're good.
So he's got a guy who's talking to about his lines painted and fence and a whole bunch of stuff.
right. Getting there. Sorry about that. We both thought you were the Crown Plaza. Oh, we used to be.
Okay, I got you.
Is it not on our list?
Well, I look at the website, I just, going on club and.
Been over. Are you guys speaking to fellows today or something, or are you just?
Diane's doing like a 5-minute, announcement about the.
Okay. Just I gotta take your notes.
Sure.
Excellent. Their seats.
There'll be seats, I'm sure.
Someone will take pity on us.
Just,
Let's go get food and then.
yeah, get your food.
Thank you.
We'll find a place.
Don't worry.
Kind of like kid homesick, it's like, can I come and just sleep a while? I'm like, no, you gotta stay home.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
No.
You know, I'm busy here, so I also brought a guest.
Yeah, I mean, pigs.
Yeah. But she's gonna be considered as serious about something coming up as leadership one of the weeks, right?
I guess this is a weird thing. Remember that type of Hong Kong that spoke to us about Hong Kong and attacked by the Japanese?
Hey there, come on in.
I wouldn't hear about that.
Kyle is on the new sheets.
Already? And your last name?
Lambert.
Oh, good, welcome.
The 50/50, you're in? Sure, I would. 3 for 5 or 2 for 1. Go.
And we're gonna bill it, right?
No, he'll be charged. Just,
So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll.
you don't have to pay because you'll be
We're
charged.
quiet down here.
Just your ears for a minute. Is there any seats for that? Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I should wait.
Sure, what now?
I guess I should wait.
No.
What's that, what are you looking for?
So you were saying you were gonna put a member?
Those 2 people that
Yeah.
just walked in,
Wanna give
you want to know
them
what they can sit. I said, I can't tell you right now.
Hi.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
T and J.
Are those?
Let me get a seat.
More-
Here, I think some seats here. Yeah, here, I
I'm
think.
gonna email today, so.
Perfect.
Yeah, think Andrew's here. Oh, okay.
I have a meeting with
No, we never did like that.
it would be okay.
So, I am.
We'll be there.
I think some of the seats along this side are good.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
From 12 to 1.
And then you'll take it.
Deliver after by 1:15, where, you know, you can send me anywhere.
Okay, well, they'll figure that out. I'm not doing this, so they'll have to go on. I think you can choose, you can choose who you want to take it to. And there's only a few.
It's in the other country.
Oh,
First of all, I think
I know you did. It's a long one.
no, that's fine.
It looks like there might
Okay. We can always give our
I
share.
think there's a couple here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some at the rough the back.
I don't know why, for some reason I didn't pick up my stuff. I'll have to double up on the.
I'm almost 30,000. Almost 30,000.
Good.
For what?
People that-
Oh, good.
Alan, they-
The looks they give us.
Okay. And you work on those on Saturday night to start
No,
spending
we work for the same owner,
I'll say
so
hi.
he owns 2 stores. He's at Park Store, sponsors at Park Store, and I work at Brad
At 94. What's it?
Yeah, that's the one outside.
Brad sponsored from our club.
What a guy. Glad.
I'm good, how are you, Jim? Yeah, it is been a while, yes.
There we go. Just enough room.
I would have seen you sooner, but Miss Voisin couldn't get her AM or PM, right?
It was PM.
Okay.
You were right. I read it twice too.
I know.
I felt so bad too.
No, but you were wrong.
Ian got a break.
I know. Well, I thought because it was at your condo, I thought, well, PM made perfect sense too, right? You know, so.
Definitely AM next week.
Mhm. I'll be there.
Ford's coming.
Yeah, for me.
Oh, stay there.
Stay there?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't want you to drop my seat.
You're trying to find one.
Grab a drink because I knew we had water.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Oh, you going back?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Our third grandchild is almost gonna be there. Oh, they're there.
You wanna buy my plate? $5.
You got the greatest words.
Yeah, they've been laughing at that.
Well, how can I forget?
I know it. See, that's the problem.
There we go.
You wanna do
Once in a while, the medical line goes down. And
I know.
I took it upon myself. Yes, I am pretty sure that, my grandfather
That's the just outside of the mother, and she went to school in North there, just outside of Manila. I can't remember. I still remember the name, but I can't. It's not very far. 5, 10 kilometers. She's been there now for 20 years. All you wanted to do is yes, I went. I'm happy to be here now, but my mother. Was that right? There you go.
Going towards
Yeah, so it's interesting. I said, will you ever come back in? It's in for it's outside of Manila. I should be getting in there trout.
So now you're still practicing.
No, I will get it. I tried grandparents make kind of When I was home for those 5 months, we're going back. It's also that would be a chance. That would be a trophy. He's I tasted like a little.
Sometimes a small town. There's parts of the town that don't go to Our main library's right down there for golf. And you walk along and on the riverside, it's nice to get people walk there. You have to be so careful because people everywhere. City actually is that
They had
contact for years, three-stage emergency supplies, so that in event of who to call right away, community was set up right away. We should be ready. Let's not be reactive. Have everything prepared ahead of time. Have key people identified, cell numbers or satellite phone in case the house goes out. Who to contact, who the second is. Here's the hospital there, where the situated are. Who transportation is. When they need to He was part of that group of people that come to that emergency prepared documents.
Everybody's getting a coffee. I'll have a few announcements. Bingo tomorrow night. Simon Adler and yours truly.
What?
Bingo.
Bingo, oh yeah, bingo!
It's not like they're every week up here. You should just make it part of your regular routine, right? Birthdays, Larry Mascio, November the 30th. Anniversaries, Neil and Colin Aitchison, 48 years on November the 27th.
Remember that, Todd?
Club anniversaries, Dave Decker, 34 years tomorrow. And I just have something from the Concordia Club choirs. They cordially invite you and a guest to join us for our annual Christmas dinner on Monday, November the 9th. I guess maybe that's December the 9th. Sorry, thank you. Doors open at 6. I don't know if that's for our sponsorship, so that might just be designated for one. Or I just quickly opened it. John just dropped it.
Usually it's one person.
Yeah, it's usually just one person.
Not the whole club.
Not the whole club, yeah. Sorry.
It is one person.
It is one, well, a couple, I think.
I've done
I've done it too. So let me think about that.
it.
Sorry. And then I got a letter also from St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, thanking us for the camp, Come On, I Wanna Go, for a generous donation of $2,250 to support the camp this summer. Camp K really appreciates the donations that your organization makes, and your generosity has and will make many children happy. So they are thanking us for that. And then I think Jerome, you wanna?
Just a reminder, everybody that has received the ballots, has not returned it for the election, please do so as soon as possible, so we can get our final tallies up for the board for the 2000.
How many times can you vote?
2021.
As much as you want.
You can vote as many times as you want, Paul, but I already got your name down. The other thing is, we're still looking, we could still handle one more person for both the Monday night, that's December the 9th, and the Thursday night, December the 12th. We can look for one more person for each of those nights for gingerbread judging, which is a fantastic evening as described in my email. So please respond to that if anybody so do. Thank you.
Jerome? If you don't eat them.
Everton?
Just for those of you who saw as you're coming in, we have the Sergeant of Arms, Assistant Sergeant of Arms sign up for 2020. So please fill out your name and pick a month that works good for you.
Sorry, you can go first. Sure.
That's okay. Regarding the Christmas tree at Kids Ability, looks like they have a new coordinator there from Annie Krantz of the past, so she's still trying to do things different. It is a link, and I can forward to everybody, or you can give me the names and I can enter the names in there to put the registration into place.
I think they're ready for 4 to 5 volunteers still. That was as of Monday. I'm not sure if they need any
Yeah,
more than
but
that.
it is a link, and as soon as you put, I just entered my son.
What
And
day
it's
is that
December
again?
the 7th.
December the 7th,
From
it's gonna
8:30.
be from 9 in the morning until 12. So we usually don't have a hard time for 10 people, but looks like they have enough, so 4 people will be okay. I can forward the link so everybody can register. That's all they need, the name, first name, last name, and an email address. That's all. Or you give it to me, and then while I'm entering, my boys are making a tradition. They are asking to. So they are.
Just a reminder, the Kitchener Rotary Club, our Rotary Club and the Kitchener Club are sponsoring the State of the Region luncheon where Karen Redmond will be speaking. And mark it on your calendar, Tuesday, January the 28th, 2020. It'll be from 11:30 to 1:30. It'll be at the Doubletree Hilton in Kitchener, which is the old Holiday Inn. It's changed 3 times there. Stonebridge, yeah. Sunbridge. Anyways, the event, tickets will be going live. You'll be getting another sort of invitation this Friday. So the MC will be Neil Aitchison and our own Neil Aitchison. So it should be a good event. Karen is doing a special speech just for this, and we're hoping to have this as an annual tradition for our clubs. And I think as part of the membership club and the fund, it won't be really a fundraising component membership. We're trying to recruit new members into the club, and also Kitchener is doing the same thing. So this is one of the ways of doing it through Karen's committee here on membership. So anyways, get your tickets. The tickets are $50 a head, and you can reserve on Everbright tickets. And last but not least, I gotta check where the money goes, right?
Yes, please. Find out where the money's at.
Do you have any questions? Myself and Allison are the 2 key persons from our club, and Howard Pell will be from the Kitchener.
I think it's the Judy Nairn Retirement Fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So now I want to bring up bingo.
Bingo.
The current process currently isn't working very well. We had 33 of our 52 active members actually register and sign up and actually complete a bingo this year. So I've been talking to Chris, and we've come up with a different process whereby he's gonna do up the list for next year. We're gonna give everybody till the 15th of December to take your first come, first served choices. And then after that, he's just gonna go down the list and start assigning names. And if you can't make it, you have to find a replacement, and you're gonna have to confirm that you are attending the week of the bingo, because we don't wanna risk the loss of that $15,000 a year that we receive by doing that. So we figured it out that it works out to be 1.5 volunteer shifts a year. So It's 3 every 2 years.
Yeah.
Except for Simon. Yeah, Simon volunteered 9 times this year. And he's coming tomorrow, and then he's still got another December shift.
There are other things that I would.
I know, but that, you gotta save some for the
I
other.
think he's got a
So I'm gonna send out an email this afternoon to everybody, because not everybody's here today, just letting them know this is the new plan, and I hope everybody's okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes?
It has been a devastating earthquake in Albania these days, and it is a lot of fundraising going around. I'm asking how can us as a club just can help something, and I'm chairing the community, Albanian community for this year as well. So how we can try to help during this disaster, and I can include and get volunteers for our bingo as well. So they would like, just Albanian community is a mix of older and young, and just trying. They've been coming from most of the people in this community are coming from the Kosovo War in 1999, and they all appreciate how much help has been in here. Their kids are growing now. Maybe the parents hardly could speak but the kids want to get much more involved in the community. And I have requests saying that how can we blend with the community and volunteering.
Wow.
I would like to ask for help at this point, and then I assure you that we're gonna get help.
Leave that with us, and then we can go from there.
Thank you.
Chat with Bill Peg to see how we can maybe coordinate that, because we need to make sure that they're gonna come, that's the.
Of course, I'll be the one responsible.
So you'll be doing a lot of bingo next year if they don't have us, right?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add?
Karen, just a quick question about the gift delivery Friday. Is that
I'm gonna send out an email this afternoon, just confirming everything. It's not any different from the original email, but I'll just confirm to those others.
Okay, now we're gonna lighten it up a bit. Guess the member. I have 2 daughters. My favorite food is Mexican, and I love science fiction.
Brandon.
You have $2?
2 daughters. Karen just guessed Brandon. He does have 2 daughters, though. You're correct.
Does he have $2? Not Larry?
Nope.
He's got more than $2.
Is an active member?
Doug?
John Vickery.
Nope.
What was the last one?
Science fiction. I think we're done guessing. David Mark. Pot is $217. 0044.
Oh, man.
Good
Need a stool, John?
Get ready to see that picture.
Yeah.
It's easier.
too bad?
0056.
Oh, look at right.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna pick on now? Too bad.
0055.
Vickery's always up there.
He doesn't quit.
So now I'll invite Diane and Tony up to say a few words. Leadership time.
You're up.
You're on deck.
I had to get Tony's attention.
That's okay.
Spread.
I have that problem.
It's different.
We're gonna try to be a little better from now on.
Pay attention. So I'm here to introduce, I'm here as a Rotarian, but I'm also on the board of Leadership Waterloo Region. I'm with the Kitchener Connoisseur Club. And so Diane Wiles is the CEO of Leadership Waterloo Region. We have our gala coming up in January, and Diane's is here to tell us about it.
Fantastic, thank you, Tony. So it's so nice, thank you for having us here today. It's nice to see so many familiar faces and friends. Just a quick update about Leadership of Waterloo Region. We're well into our class. We started in September, and our cohort this year is working with the University of Waterloo and Wellbeing Waterloo Region to take on affordable housing. So the lens and all the teaching that we're doing around leadership styles and systems and all of our tours are coming from that lens of affordable housing. Being that affordable housing exists for many reasons. So if this is affordable housing, we're looking at mental health, addiction, poverty, seniors, new Canadians, single parenting, and we can go on and on. So for the next few years, that's what we'll be focusing on. So on January 25th, we have our gala coming up. So last year I said, I went and met with Alex Vastakis from Drayton Festival, and I said, Alex, can you please help me book the talent? So he put me in touch with an agent he really trusts, and we have booked a young performer named Spencer McKenzie. So Spencer McKenzie is a blues musician out of Fort Erie. He has headlined many blues festivals across Canada. He's a 21-year-old prodigy, basically, coming with his more seasoned band. And we are just really looking forward to the event. So again, this year it's bow ties, blues, and barbecue. We're shifting away from that more formal sit down. We're offering, cornbread and brisket and good old barbecue food. Instead of wine on the table, there'll be tall boys of IPA beers for you to have different tastings with your barbecue. And we're just want to have a good time. So I have postcards for the event. We'll be following up with emails if you'd like to purchase. The early bird tickets are on sale until December 31st at $125 a ticket. And the regular price is $150 after that date. Throughout the whole sales period, a ticket is $1,000. We're also seeking corporate sponsorships. This is our premier gala, our premier event, rather, fundraising event of the year. And so some of you might receive a reach out from one of us. And just to say thank you, and I have these to pass out as well. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
I want Rick to introduce our guest speaker.
Thanks so much.
I'll see you today. 6:30.
Alexander was born on December 23rd, 1969 in Kazalanik, Bulgaria, and studied, had his elementary and secondary school in the same town and graduated in 1987. He graduated from Sofia University in St. Clement, or Boritsky, I'm sure I probably got that wrong, in 1994 with a Master's of Law degree. He became a lawyer in September of 1994. As a lawyer, he represented clients in court litigation for civil, criminal, administrative, and refugee cases. In 1998, he started a private practice as a notary public in Sofia, Bulgaria, and worked as a notary public from 1998 until 2014, where he performed a wide range of services, including wills, estates, real estate transfers, and corporate cases. He is married to his wife, Judith, who grew up in St. Clements, but she lived in Bulgaria for 20 years, which is where they met. He moved his family to Canada in 2015 and had to wait about 10 months for his permanent resident status. During that waiting period, he did a lot of volunteering in our community with the work being related to law. His wife has a full-time job in Toronto, and Alexander had a part-time job and took care of the children. He worked for a year and a half in a Korean restaurant in Waterloo while studying online to obtain a law clerk designation. Later, he worked as a corporate law clerk in Sutherland and Mark Lawyers with Monteith Ritzma Phillips Professional Corporation, and as a real estate law clerk with Shue, Klein, and Grossman in Kitchener. Both he and his wife like networking, meeting with people, and exploring different things. He's very happy that the entire family is settling well in Waterloo, and they have many plans for the future. Alexander wants his family to make a contribution to this multicultural community. Fellow Rotarians, please welcome Alexander.
Thank you very much for having me here as a guest speaker, and thank you very much to Mr. Simon Adler and Mr. Williams about helping me to arrange my talk. A few days ago, I applied for a Canadian citizenship, and this marks one very important step of making big transition of an immigrant coming from Bulgaria to Canada. I am born in Bulgaria and I grew up there. I lived there for almost 45 years. And of course, my wife is related with my home country. Bulgaria is a small country located in southern Eastern Europe with 7 million population. It's on the border with Asia. It's the bordering country with Turkey. It has wonderful nature and really great history, and it's associated in the last 70 years with the communist past. The communism really affected the history of the country and the mentality and the habits of the Bulgarians. And I experienced this, my family experienced this. And my wife, which lived there for more than 20 years. She lived there more than she lived in Canada. My parents and my grandparents lived with the idea for living in just right society. They wanted it. But reality was completely different. The communism was one experiment which was imposed from one superpower, one big, really big, great country, which influenced Eastern Europe and many other countries around the world. And it was something really different in the world history with its atheistic approach. The religion was forbidden. The ownership in the economy was state. The private entrepreneurship was forbidden. People could not travel, but everybody was given mediocre existence. The healthcare and the education were free, and people enjoyed middle standard of living. But things changed in 1980s with coming of one prominent person in the former Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev. I'm sure many of you know his name. He started ambitious reforms, huge changes in the Soviet Union after the failure of the war in Afghanistan, which the Soviet launched in 1979. And he faced huge resistance, not only in the Soviet Union, but in Eastern Europe. And Bulgaria was the most loyal ally of the Soviet Union, which is Germany, the Soviet Union. I remember the time of the change in November 1989. On 10th November, the Bulgarian party leader resigned, and this unleashed huge streamline of changes in the country. And the day before this, the Berlin Wall fell under the pressure of the people. And these remarkable events commemorated one fall of big change in Eastern Europe. And I remember the December bloody revolution in Romania and the trial and execution of Ceausescu, the Romanian communist leader. I remember the time when this event happened because I was student in first year in Sofia University, St. Clement Ochridsky, and it was time of big change, big hopes for betterment of the country, which suffered chronic economic deficit, troubles with supply of goods, and people didn't have freedom of speech. And under the pressure of the public, the government changed the laws, new parties were allowed, and the first free election since 70 years happened in 1990. Of course, students at universities are the most sensitive part of society. Those who want change for good, they want to change society for betterment, they want a good future. And this was time when Bulgaria underwent very big changes in the legislation, which were designed to change the free entrepreneurship. For the first time, private companies were allowed to make profit, and people have already freedom of speech. The former secret services were disbanded, and this gave big impetus of the society for good. I became a lawyer in 1994, and I had my own legal practice in downtown Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, and I worked in different cases. The government allowed private notary public practices in 1997, so I established my own public notary practice, which is different from here. The public notaries have really big authority in Bulgaria. They're authorized from the government, but they're private legal practitioners, and they're doing real estate transfers and wills. And for 16 years, I faced with very stubborn, very strong patterns of my clients who did not want to respect the law. It was the most difficult part of my work. They often wanted something which was not legal, or it was in the gray zone, and I had to deny this. And then happened one really remarkable event in my life which changed my story completely. On 23rd April 1996, while waiting on the line in the court palace, I met my wife. She was working in Bulgaria at that time, and she was waiting at the same line as me. She needed one document, she did not speak Bulgarian, and she was really very frustrated because people are sometimes not friendly when you don't speak Bulgarian. And many times before this, I told her, can I help you? And I didn't know that this moment will start the beginning of my relationship with her. She was really surprised in the next months. Even for me, it's still, I can say this is a miracle, our meeting. And we had one very romantic summer, and we decided to marry. So we married on 30 November 1996. It was the same day when her parents married in Holland a long time ago. So for her, it was really a very big change. She was born in Holland, and she grew up in St. Clements in Canada. She worked in Africa for 2 years as a teacher, and she ended up in Bulgaria. And I remember the time when she came to see our apartment where we should live in the next years. There are many very plain, concrete buildings in Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, which are completely similar. They are very gray and they can be very depressing. So I remember when she saw for the first time the building, she started to cry. And it was really very unusual for a lady from Canada to live in Bulgaria at that time. And even now, I think there are very few like her. And it was really a very big surprise for the neighbors, for the friends. And then she decided to stay in Bulgaria and not to come back to Canada. And her first question to me was, where do you want to live, in Bulgaria or in Canada? And I said, we live in Bulgaria. And she was happy because she had also another cause for which she worked in Bulgaria. And it was the Baha'i faith, the Baha'i religion. It was her work. She worked for the local Baha'i Bulgarian community. I enjoyed my work at that time. I had my own legal office as a public notary. Unfortunately, I faced in the everyday work the corruption in every level in the Bulgarian society. I'm sorry to say this, but this problem now exists and they're becoming even worse. It's getting worse because of many reasons. The post-communist heritage is really very strong, it puts an influence, and people used to the ideas that they must give bribes, that must take bribes, and this is really very sad. So now the country faces serious ethnic problems with the local Roma minority and with big influx of refugees coming from Turkey, mostly from Middle East. So they're just passing through the country on the way for Western Europe. And I see that the problems are becoming really more and more disturbing there. So year after year, I recognize that for the better of the children and for the really better future for my family, we have to make a big change. We still did not want what will be the change. And I applied for different jobs. I want to become judge. I want to become a prosecutor. But again, everything was decided in advance. And when I was told, honestly, if you want to become judge, you have to do something which was against my conscience. And I said, well, okay, I will resign from my work as a public notary. And it was not accepted from my former fellows, from my former colleagues, because it was really very lucrative job in the capital. The public notary community is very close, very conservative community. It's very difficult to get there. And they could not believe that I want to leave this community, I want to resign just for nothing. And they wanted to bribe me. They wanted to bribe me. So I said, I will keep my conscience clean and I resign. And this is my last decision. So I resigned in October 2014, and we took the decision to come to Canada in December 2014, the same year. I'm really blessed that we had big support from my wife's family, which they are really great family. They are great people, very caring of each other. My mother-in-law is 93. She's very active, very social. She's still driving, which is really great. And we have a lot of moral support. And I was with the children for 4 months in Bulgaria. My wife was here. So it was time of separation. It was very difficult for us that she was here. I was with the children in Bulgaria, but they had to complete the school year there. And on 20th July 2015, we did the most important step in our life. We arrived on Pearson International Airport as a family. And my wife had job interview the next day. So we separated at the airport. I came in Guelph with her older brother, and she stayed in Toronto with her younger brother for the job interview. And this is how started our new life in the new country. I was quite lucky that I got my permanent residence just for 10 months, which is really very fast. But I wanted to do something. I wanted to be useful for the community. And I had a lot of free time, except helping the children. My wife was working in Toronto, staying there from Monday to Thursday. And I started to volunteer in Kisway Public School, delivering snacks and milk for the children. But I wanted to do more. And I found supportive housing Waterloo, which is very close to our house. and I went there to play chess with the tenants. The tenants who are there, they're really people with many problems, with many issues, and they were happy to spend some time playing chess. Chess is really a great game. It makes people think. So I did also volunteering with John Howard Society, with refugees, with First Nations, and I got my permanent residency on 8 July 2016. It was really a very remarkable event for me. So I started to look for jobs, which was very important for me. I was applying online, and I saw that I must use more open outreaching strategy for job search. And I remember how I found my first job in Korean restaurant in the village. I was bringing my resumes to different restaurants, and I was knocking on the door on them one by one. And I saw this restaurant, now it's with another name. And I talked to the manager, one Korean guy, and he said, "Oh, you are taking care of your children, so you are a good person, so I want to hire you." And I started my job there for 1 year, 6 months. I was there almost every day, part-time at lunch. And it was really a completely challenging job for me, but I love it because I had the freedom in the evenings to study. I studied online for a lot of work, and I did another volunteer work. So step by step, I built up my network of contacts with a lot of legal professionals. I must say the networking is the most enriching job search mean. It's very energizing, it's very useful, it brings a lot of energy, and I would like to encourage other immigrants who are coming in Canada with a lot of expectations, but not well prepared. And I want to help them to practice networking. Because I see even now, many of them, they're coming here with a lot of education, a lot of degrees, but for different reasons, they cannot find their place here. And they're struggling. The winter is long, so they stay at home, at the computers, applying online, and it doesn't work. And I want to show them that this is possible. They can find the right person, they can find the right contacts if they make efforts, if they go out of their comfort zone. This is very important because more and more immigrants are coming in Canada. I think in the next 3 years there will be 1 million. And many of them, they don't have real information what's happening here on the job market. And it's not easy for immigrants and for the Canadians and for the young people to find a good job. So I see the networking as the most successful tool for community building and for presenting the newcomers to the employers. And also, this is very Canadian way to use the networking, socializing. I'm happy that this community with the Mennonite heritage is really a very welcoming, very inclusive community, accepting different waves of refugees from different years, Vietnamese, Syrians. I remember the time in 2015 when a big group of refugees came in Waterloo, and the children didn't speak English. So Kidsway Public School asked for volunteer teachers, and they came, and they taught the children English. And now I see the same children in our neighborhood, and they are speaking really very good English, very fluent English. I'm happy to be here in this community, but I see really many people struggling, not only newcomers. I'm volunteering now in St. John Kitchen, in Kitchener, and this is a very interesting and very challenging place, really very challenging place. I see many people need support, and I see myself as a person who encourages people like them to be outreaching and to use wisely the networking as a community building instrument. I found one old postcard of my mother-in-law to my wife from 2001, and she wrote her that she feels homesick, that her daughter is not with her. And now I'm happy that she is 92, she'll become 93 next year. The whole family is around her. It's really a happiness that the children are around her at this age. My mother will come here on 4th of December, so I know she misses the family, but I feel blessed with having this huge family here, but also with having so many friends and contacts in the community. And I believe in the bright future of this community. It's really with a lot of potential for growth. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So, question, before you came to Canada, had you studied English in university, or did you have to learn the language after you arrived?
I studied at school and in university, and I was self-taught as well. But we spoke in Bulgarian at home in Bulgaria because my wife speaks fluent Bulgarian.
Oh, really? You did a great job, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Oh.
So is all of your family here now? Do you still have relatives back in Bulgaria?
Yeah, my mother is in Bulgaria, and also I have extended family there.
Yeah.
But my family, my wife and my children are here.
You speak both languages at home with the kids?
So when I talk to my children in Bulgarian, they respond in English. I need English because I must improve my knowledge.
What's the hardest thing for you to get used to here in Canada versus being in Sofia, Bulgaria? Like, what's hard to adapt to?
So for me, overqualification and having master's degree from another country, which is not recognized in Canada, I can say it's the biggest challenge. And also the lack of professional legal experience, it's obstacle for me. Because now there's very big changes in the legal market. I see technology dramatically changes the law. There are many new projects which require different approach.
Thank you.
Don't go away. I know I scare a lot of people. Alexander, I don't think any of us, there are a few of us, Clara, you obviously immigrated.
Exactly the same way that he's describing. And then back this to the Communist Party, their kids are still there. That's where the corruption is. It's hard to break it. Even now we do the fundraising and everybody's just trying to find a place, like a Rotary club there, because even this fundraising, we cannot trust them where they're gonna go to the needy people or they can be stolen.
So my point that I wanted to make, and thanks for that, was that all of us, and most of us, have no idea. We have no idea what it's like to leave your birth country and pack up and move halfway around the world. We have no idea. Because none of us have ever had to do that except for the odd person in our group. We all know people that did that. We have neighbors, friends, but we have no idea. And so I admire you for what you do, what you're doing, and what you're trying to achieve, and we wish you all the best. Now we don't give a nice gift like a trip to Florida. Trip to Heidelberg. In your name, we are restoring the eyesight of a person by the name of Naroda, an 80-year-old female, and we'd like to present you with a certificate that thank you.
Yep.